Hi everyone, it's Anja here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today, can you believe it, it's week 3 of our CAL and it's 3A this episode, so we will be working on our big project here, but already you should have your big project and these squares, so 2 lots of squares, a little bit the same but still different as well. So these are made in the B videos and we've just had one last Friday, so this is the square videos. There will be another one coming out this Friday, so in a couple of days time, so keep an eye out for that. But today we are working on the A part, which is the lines on our big piece of work. So we have finished the last week with a row of graphite, re-establishing our stitches after doing this lovely stitch here. So let's get started. Once again, we are going to do one of these sections, but slightly differently. So this week we have these stitches to contend with. So this is last week's, this is what we are doing now, then we are doing this one here, and then a fun one at the end there. So 3 sections this week, not like last week where we did 4, oh, goodness me, but fun sections nevertheless. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my last stitch here. I have sewn in my ends, but I haven't sewn in the last one as usual because I am going to have to, undo that last pull through, and we're going to pull through with the new color. So we are going to change to color B, and that's the lime for me, or the parchment if you're doing the other colorway. Pull it through, and that's you started in your next color. Chain 1, and we are going to turn. The chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so in the same stitch we are going to put a single crochet. There we go. And then it says single crochet in every stitch to the end. So let's get going on doing that. I will see you at the end of the row. I have made it to the end of my row. I have counted my stitches and I've got 144, so important to do so. Now we are going to do row 42, chain 2, 1, 2. You turn, and as this chain 2 counts as a stitch, we are going to get started in the next stitch with doing half double crochets in each stitch along to the end. So that's a half double crochet. There we go. So yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops on your hook. And you're going to do this all along the row, and I will see you at the end of your row. Okay, so I have done my row of half double crochets. This is where it gets a little bit different. Okay, so row 43, chain 2, this counts as a stitch. We turn our work. Now we are going to skip a stitch. So this is the first stitch, so that's okay. We're going to skip this one, and in the next one we are going to do a double crochet. There. Now we are going to do a double crochet in the skipped stitch. So you start like you would normally, but you just go into that stitch that we've just skipped and you do a double crochet as normal. Okay, so you sort of work around that first double crochet that we did. Okay, so skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the skipped stitch. Look, we're making little crosses. Okay, let me just show you really up close. Okay, so we're going to skip a stitch, into the next stitch, go and do a double crochet, yarn over, go into that skip stitch, just as if you were doing your normal stitch, really. There we go, see? And that is what you are going to be doing all the way to the end. Okay, I will see you at the end. Oop. There. So I have repeated the little kisses all along my row, and at the end there was just enough, like 3 stitches left, so I did another kiss, and then here, that last stitch, that's where I'm just going to do a double crochet. If you can't manage it to go into that stitch, just go in between, but make sure you do that because you need it. Okay, then row 44, chain 2, counts as a stitch, turn, and you start in the next stitch and you do a half double crochet along the whole line, because of course we have to sort of do those 2 lines now where we do a row of half double crochet and a row of single crochets. So I will see you at the end of the row. I have now come to the end of my row, and it says row 45, chain 1, does not count as a stitch, turn, and now we are going to do a single crochet in each stitch along to the end, and we start in the same stitch. So there we go. That's my first one. So we are doing 144 single crochets. I will see you at the end of the row. I have made it to the end here. We are now going to change color. So once again, I've done it. I've pulled through. Never mind. I'll just undo my last pull through. We are going to change to color C. So row 46. We are going to change color. There we go. And we are going to chain 1, turn, best cut off your line here. There we go. Yes, I've got a little visitor on my desk. I don't know how long this will last. There we go. Okay, bye bye, thank you. And we are going to do a single crochet in each stitch along to the end, and we are going to start in that very first stitch, okay, because of course that chain does not count as a stitch. So off we go again, doing a row of single crochets all along to the end. So I have done my 144 single crochets along my row here. Now to start row 47, we are going to chain 2. This counts as a stitch. We're going to turn our work, and we are going to do 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. The start here is just to allow for the repeat of the stitch and of course our stitch count. So we'll just do these and then it will all work out later on. Okay, so I have now got my chain and 4 double crochets. Then this is where our repeat starts. So repeat is skip 1 stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, 1 double crochet in the skipped stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, skip 1 stitch, that's this one, 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, so 1 in here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. another one. We have to do 3 and another one. Okay, so we've skipped a stitch here, 3 double crochets there. Then 1 double crochet in the skipped stitch. So you yarn over, you go back to the skipped stitch, go into it the way you would normally, pick up the yarn, pull it up, a bit higher than usual, okay, and you pull through 2, and you pull through 2. There we go. So this is what it looks like. Then we do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Okay, so now let's repeat this. So we skip this stitch, skip the next stitch, then 1, 2, 3 double crochets in the next, and the next, and the next. Okay, so there. Then you are going to do a double crochet in the skipped one. So you yarn over, go into there, pull up the loop, and pull up a little bit further so you're back where you should be. Pull through 2. Carefully. I'm splitting something here, yeah. And pull through 2. See? And 2 stitches. 2 double crochets. Right, let's do it again. Skip 1. 1 double crochet in the next 3. And now we are going to go and do the 4th one, or the other one, in that skipped stitch there. There we go. And 2 double crochets. I really like this stitch. I hope you do as well. So you continue this until the end of the row. At the end you will have to do 1 double crochet in the last 3 stitches. So you will have 23 repeats and 6 double crochets. I will see you at the end of the row. So I have made it to the end of my row here. And yes, indeed, I had 3 stitches left to do a double crochet in. So I now have 23 repeats and 6 double crochets. Row 48, chain 1, and we are going to go back along the row and we are going to do single crochets. The reason why we do these rows in between is so that all our little crosses here are going to be facing the same way. Okay, so starting in that very first stitch, as the chain does not count as a stitch, we are going to do a single crochet all along the row, 1 in every stitch. I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I've made it to the end of my row with my 144 single crochets. Now basically we are going to repeat another row of those crossed stitches, then a row of single crochets, another row of cross stitches, then single crochets. So as you can see in the diagram, we have to repeat this until we have 3 rows of the crossed stitches, and we are going to finish on a row of single crochets. So I will get you started and then I will see you at the end of all your rows. So it says row 49, it says repeat for 47, and then row 50 it says repeat 48. So we are going to repeat these rows. So chain 2, this counts as a stitch, you turn and you are going to do 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Now the thing is, you can see what you're supposed to be doing because obviously you've done it before and you're just putting the same thing underneath the same thing. So here we are going to do those double crochets because that's what I can see in that row below. So that's 3. Why is this not? And that's 4. Okay. right? And then I'm doing the crossing, so we are skipping this one and we are doing the 3 here, and then we are doing the skipped stitch. Oh, there we go, careful, yeah, and then the 2 double crochets. So I will see you at the end of your 6 rows. So you're doing 3 of these rows and 3 of the single crochets in between. So happy crocheting, and I will see you at the end of those rows. Right, so I have done my rows of the crossed stitch. So I've got 3 rows of that, and then each time I did a single crochet row, and so I'm at the end of that. So I've done this diagram here. We are now moving on to the next section, and we are doing these lovely little things here. So they're little puffs, and they are going to provide us with lots of structure and a very fun element in our work. So it's time to change the color. Right, let me just put this to the side a little bit. We are going to go and use our color A again. So undo that last stitch and pull through your new color. There we go. Okay, and I am just going to cut off the graphite as well, so that's out of the way. So we are going to first of all start with doing a row of single crochets all along the end, to the end, all along the end, yes, okay. Chain 1, turn, this does not count as a stitch, and into that same stitch that the chain 1 is coming out of, we are doing a single crochet, and we are doing one all along the line. I will see you at the end of the row. So I have made it to the end of the row with my single crochets, 144 of them. Row 54, chain 2. So now we are going to start the fun part of this stitch. Okay, so we are going to do 3 half double crochets together in this stitch. So this is all made up by doing 3 half double crochets, but not finishing them, but finishing them together. Okay. So in the next stitch it says, so you chain 2, turn, in the next stitch it says 3 HDC together. So let me just explain to you what a HDC together is. Yarn over, insert into the stitch, pull up a loop. Now you would normally yarn over and pull through 3, but it's 3 HDC together. So this is the first HDC, yarn over, insert into the same stitch, pull up a loop, pull up, still no pull through at the end. That's the second. Third, yarn over, into that same hole and pull up a loop again. So you do have to make a little bit of an effort to pull up here, okay? So this is what I call 3 HDC. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the loop on your hook is going to be 7 loops on your hook. Now you yarn over and you are going to pull through all the loops on your hook. Then says chain 1, 3 half double crochets together, but you have to skip a stitch. So skip this stitch, into the next one, yarn over, into the hole, pull up a loop, yarn over, into the hole, pull up a loop, yarn over, into the hole and pull up a loop. Can you see I'm doing this each time? You sort of have to make your loops the same height at the height of the stitch, okay? Then you've got 7 loops, then you yarn over and you pull through all 7 loops and chain 1. skip a stitch, yarn over, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through 3 and or pull through 7 or 6, whatever it is, and then chain 1. Okay, so this is what we are going to be creating. So you still have your normal amount of V's at the top, but in between here you sort of have these lines of yarn. Okay, let me just do one more. Okay, skip here into this one here, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and I'm using my finger just to keep them on my hook. I've yarned over and I'm going to pull through all the loops on my hook. Once you get into doing it, no, that was wrong. Did you see? I did not yarn over to start with. So yarn over and into your stitch there. See, you get quite into a habit. So yarn over, that's my cat making a noise of doing this. Okay. And if you, oh no, yarn over. If you find that it's difficult to pull through all those loops that are on your hook, you might just want to make sure that you are doing that little pull up here. That way you are creating the space to get through your all those loops. And also here, look, I'm holding on to them like this as well. So 2, 4, 6, yeah, and there we go. So there's various ways of trying to keep all those loops on your hook. You can do it with this finger, you can do it with this finger. So have a little play and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I've come to the end of my first row of puffs and I have 2 stitches left at the end. Oh, why is this other one getting in the way? And yes, I've done my little chain, and so I am going to do a double crochet in the last stitch just to end my row here. Then I am going to chain 2, I'm going to turn, and this time we are going to place the little puffs in between the other puffs. So there's no more counting, there's no more skipping, there's just in between the other puffs. And we are going to go and start off straight away into that first one here with our first little puff. There we go, and chain 1, and you continue like this. Chain 1, see? So we are going to do 4 rows of this. So this is my second row. You will have to do another 2 on top of that. So I will see you when you have done 4 rows of puffs. Right everyone, so I have done my 4 rows of puffs. I have got a lovely little section here with lots of structure. So I am now going to do, like it says in row 58, chain 1. Oh, by the way, so there's 71 puffs and you've got a double crochet or a chain on either side as well. So then you turn. So then we are going to start with doing a single crochet in each stitch along the end, starting in the same stitch. So we've got here the very first stitch to get started in. There we go. And then we do the one on top of the puff. And then there's a chain. So I tend to go in because that makes it a little bit easier. And it's, with having the same color, it doesn't really matter. So I tend to make sure that my single crochets here are quite tight because this piece of work is a little bit looser, so that row of single crochets can be used to bring it in a little bit more. So on top of the puff, like so, and around the chain space like so. And I give the little stitches a little tug each time so that they, see, look, are nice and tight, and bring it in a little bit if you should find that it's gone out a bit. So I will see you at the end of the row. I have now come to the end of my row here. I've got 144 single crochets on top of my puffs, and I am going to cut off my yarn here. I'm going to sew in the ends here because this is the last bit of this week's episode. So next week we will be doing some more fun things, and I will see you then. Bye!